The Quran, text, translation, and commentary by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. As the records of man are imperfect, and the memory of man unstable, the names of many of these messengers are known in one place and not in another, or among one people and not among others. And some of their names may have perished utterly, but their message stands one and indivisible, even though it may have been forgotten, or twisted by ignorance, error, superstition, or perversity, or misunderstood in the blinding light of time or tortuous circumstance. Many were the fates in the composite world of Western Asia, Northern Africa, and Europe, and many were the fragments of ancient wisdom, saved, transformed, renewed, or mingled. And many new streams of wisdom were poured through the crucibles of noble minds, prophets, poets, preachers, philosophers, and thinking men of action. And many were the conflicts, and many the noble attempts reaching out towards unity, and many were the subtle influences interchange with the other worlds of further and eastern Asia, ay, and perchance with the scattered isles of the Pacific and the world between, the Atlantic and the Pacific. At length came the time when the voice of unity should speak and declare to the people without the need of priests or priestcraft, without miracles save those that happen, now and always in the spiritual world, without mystery save those mysteries which unfold themselves in the growing inner experience of man and his vision of God, to declare with unfaltering voice the unity of God, the brotherhood of man, in grace and mercy, bounty and love, poured out in unstinted measure forever and ever. And this great healing light shone among a people steeped in ignorance, brave and free, but without cohesion or union, simple and rude, but with an easy familiarity with nature, accustomed to nature's hardships and her rugged resistance to man, but dreaming of the delights of gardens and fruitful fields, cruel, yet with a rough sense of equality, and wielding a tongue flexible, beautiful, and able to respond with brevity and eloquence to the sublimest thoughts which man could conceive. Who are fit to be vehicles of this light? Not men intoxicated with words and mysteries, men whom politics had debauched or tyranny had subdued, men whose refinement had ended in vices, who saw nature only through books or artificial conceits, or in moods which bred softness, indolence, or luxury, who spoke of love and justice, but practiced gross selfishness between class and class, sex and sex, condition and condition, and had perverted their language, once beautiful, into jargons of empty elegance and unmeaning futility. For the glory of Hellas and her freedom and wisdom had departed. Rome's great systems of law, organization, and universal citizenship had sunk into the mere ecclesiastical formalism, in dogmatism and exclusive arrogance. The living fire of Persia's prophet scars smoldered in her votaries of luxury. In India, countless castes and kingdoms canceled the unity of Buddha's teaching. The wounds of China had not yet been healed by Tang culture, and Japan was still a disciple of China. Then, in the sacred city of pagan Arabia, shone a light that spread in all directions. It was centrally placed for the bounds of the world, of men's habitations in Asia, Europe, and Africa. It made the Arabs the leading nation of culture and science, of organized enterprise, law, and arts, with a zeal for the conquest of nature and her mysteries. Behold, there was born into the world of sense the unlettered apostle, the comely child, noble of birth, but nobler still, in the grace and wisdom of human love and human understanding, dowered with the key which opened to him the enchanted palace of nature, marked out to receive and preach in burning words the spiritual truth and message of the Most High. Others before him had been born in darkness beyond the reach of history. Others again it pleased God to send us messengers, preaching, working in the dim twilight of history, wherein men fashion legends after their own hearts and dimly seek a light afar, remote from the lives, mean and sordid, such as they knew. But Mohammed came in the fullest blaze of history, with no learning he put to shame, the wisdom of the learned, with pasture folk he lived and worked and won their love. In hills and valleys, caves and deserts he wandered, but never lost his way to truth and righteousness. From his pure and spotless heart the angels washed off the dust that flew around him. Through the ways of crooked city folk he walked upright and straight, and won from them the ungrudging name of the man of faith who never broke his word. To the praiseworthy, indeed, be praise. Born in the sacred city, he destroyed its superstition, loyal to his people to the core. He stood for all humanity, orphan born and poor. He envied not the rich, and made his special care all those whom the world neglected or oppressed, orphans, women, slaves, and those in need of food or comforts, mental solace, spiritual strength, or virtues downtrodden in the haunts of men. His mother and his foster mother loved and wondered at the child. His grandfather Abdul Muttalib, of all his twice eight children and their offspring, loved him best and all his sweet and gentle ways. His uncle Abu Talib, loth though he was to give up the cult of his fathers, knew well the purity of Mohammed's mind and soul, and was his stoutest champion when the other chiefs of Mecca sought to kill the man who challenged in his person their narrow, pagan, selfish lives.